I am Thomas, the twin, or Thomas called Didymus, which means twin. While I don't look upon life with gloom and despondency, I usually demand proof before I believe in something. I want to see before I commit myself. But I am not a man of doubt. Rather, sometimes I feel I'm a man of daring. I recall the day when Mary and Martha sent word to our Lord that their brother Lazarus was dead. Jesus turned to us and said, "Let us go to him." Now, we knew of growing opposition, and some of the apostles did not want to go to Bethany. They shrank from unseen danger. But I remember how I spoke up, and I rebuked them. I said, "Let us go with him, that we might also die with him." Why do people remember my doubts and forget my daring? Remember the questions and overlook the affirmations. Remember my fears and forget my faith. I used to go fishing with some of the others, and how well I remember the Beatitudes Jesus spoke on the Horns of Hatton during the first year of his public ministry. I can almost see him rebuking the winds of the stormy Galilee and healing the sick, curing the diseased, opening the eyes of the blind, unstopping the ears of the deaf, and cleansing the lepers, and preaching the good news and the gospel to the poor. Yet, opposition has developed, and his enemies are out to destroy him. He would make us God's servants, while they would make God their servant. And even now, he says that among us, the chosen 12, there is a traitor. Is he speaking of me? Is he referring to me? Is it I? Is it I?
After Jesus called Peter and Andrew, came my brother, James. We were in the boat with our father Zebedee, mending our nets. Since that time, he called to us, and we immediately followed him, left the boat and our father, and followed them. Since that time, I've tried loving Jesus as a person. I've tried to understand Jesus by loving him. Sometimes, I believe he is as much of God as will ever possess a human life. Yet, I love him as a person, and he returns my love. Sometimes, he even calls me the beloved disciple. I have shared in his trials as well as his hours of victory. I was there on the Mount of Transfiguration, and we beheld his glory. It was Peter and I who completed the arrangements for the celebration of the Passover here in the upper room. It was I who told about his talk with Nicodemus when he spoke those wonderful words. For God so loved the world, that he gave his only Son, so that we might not perish but have everlasting life. Someday, I want to write down some of his sayings and some of his many wonderful deeds. Yet, he just said that one of us is about to betray him. I cannot believe it. Yet, it must be so, else he wouldn't have said it. Who could it possibly be? Surely not my brother, or Peter, or Andrew. Could it be John, the beloved disciple? Is it I? Is it I?
I am Thaddeus, one of the disciples who was called by Jesus to be an apostle. He chose 12 of us to be the cornerstone of the new kingdom, just as the 12 tribes were the cornerstones of the old Jewish kingdom. I feel unworthy to be numbered among the apostles, but he selected me. I well remember the day after a night in prayer, he called us to him and gave us the power. He called us to him and gave us the authority over unclean spirits and the power to heal all kinds of disease and infirmity. He then told us to go and preach. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Told us to be as wise as serpents and as innocent as doves, as he was sending us forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. It is enough, he said, that the disciples be like his teacher and the servants as his master. I was in Jerusalem when he gave the great invitation. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. He who came to share our burden had a burden thrust upon him, that one of us would betray him. Who could it be? Who is the traitor? Or will all of us betray him before the night is over? Peter, Judas, John, and even Thaddeus. Is it I? Is it I?